And on the run tonight, this guy is one of the most wanted men in Georgia. Police say he killed his girlfriend and then shot a police officer several times.
Get your ass in the car. Get your ass in the car. Get your ass in the car.
It's always the same cycle, isn't it? Love, then control, then violence, then apologies, then repeat. Alekka Simmons knew that cycle well. She'd been through it with Otis Walker before. He'd been arrested for putting hands on her. She bailed him out. Friends begged her to run. But on August 1st, 2019, that cycle ended. Started with a 911 call. This is Alekka Simmons. If anything happens to me, police showed up, saw nothing, left, then one gunshot, then chaos, a woman dead in her bedroom, a cop shot multiple times, and a killer on the run. So what failed her? Was it love? The system? Both? Period. Let's get into it. You're watching Shadow Crimes TV, where we bring true crime and domestic violence stories out of the shadows. Subscribe now and join us daily as we uncover the cases that demand to be heard. Don't just watch, be part of the conversation.
They say I look like Carla from Friday. Hey, I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Just a thick ass version. You feel me?
Alekka Simmons wasn't just another headline. She wasn't just a number in some domestic violence statistic. She was real, born in Queens, New York, but she made Atlanta, Georgia her home, went to Georgia State University, had dreams like the rest of us. To her friends, she was the fun one. Goofy, always laughing, the type to turn a boring day into something memorable. To her family, she was a daughter, a sister, and most importantly, a mother who loved her kids with everything she had. But girl, Alekka carried pain too, deep pain. The kind that don't just go away because you smile through it. She was honest about it too. Put it all out there on Facebook for the world to see. She wrote, "Some people ask why I like older men, why I'm so uptight, why I'm so angry at times. Maybe because my father ain't shit, maybe because my mom left me at a young age and I seek love for a father figure. No one understands the pain of not having your real parents' love, years of not knowing them, years of dreaming about who I look like. Why did they abandon me?" So when a mother-fard person comment on my thing life without knowing me, just know I lived a journey that no one could have survived, but I did, and I'm still living, and I thank God. So call me what you want, but you can't say I'm not strong. Now listen, that post right there, that's the key to understanding everything. She was searching for love in places that couldn't give it to her safely, searching for a father figure because hers was never there, searching for answers to questions that had haunted her since childhood. That abandonment, it shaped her, made her look for stability wherever she could find it, made her loyal to people who didn't deserve it, made her stay when she should have run. Some of her friends think that's why she started dancing at a club in Atlanta. She stripped. She wasn't ashamed of it either. Posted about it on social media. For her, it wasn't just about the money. Though yeah, the money mattered. It was about survival, about being independent, about creating some kind of protection in a world that had left her unprotected too many times. But here's the thing, Aleka was more than her struggles. She was silly, playful, made goofy videos online, always reminding herself to stay thankful, no matter what life threw at her. Still, the people closest to her could see it. That tension between the bright smile she showed the world and the battles she fought when nobody was watching. Behind all those jokes and social media posts was a young woman trying to fill empty spaces with love. Any love, even dangerous love. And that's how Otis Walker entered the picture. Their relationship? Toxic from the jump, passion mixed with chaos, love twisted up with violence. It was the kind of relationship where everybody on the outside looking in could see the danger, but the person in it couldn't or wouldn't. Police records don't lie. Walker had already been arrested for battery involving Aleka. That's not a red flag, that's a whole parade of red flags waving in your face. July 11th, 2019, just weeks before she died, officers actually witnessed Walker pushing her, dragging her. They took him into custody right there. But then what happened? Aleka bailed him out. Let me say that again, she bailed him out. That's the cycle we talked about, the one that traps so many women. He hurts you, you leave, he apologizes, you forgive, he promises to change, you believe him. Repeat. Her friends weren't having it though. They begged her to leave, pleaded with her, told her straight up, this man is going to destroy you. But Aleka's heart, loyal to a fault, and her best friend would later say something that just breaks you when you hear it. She loved him. She didn't want to leave him like everybody else left him. She bailed him out. So what, she felt responsible for saving him. Like if she just loved him hard enough, he'd change. Like she could fix what was broken in him. Girl, the neighbors saw it too. The arguments spilling into the street, loud enough for the whole block to hear. Everyone knew what was going on. For people watching from the outside, it looked like straight chaos. But for Aleka, that was the price of loving a man she thought she could help, even while he was tearing her down piece by piece. By late July 2019, you couldn't ignore the signs anymore, even if you tried. The arrest, the violence, her friends practically screaming at her to get out, the cycle of him hurting her and her taking him back. Aleka's life had become a dangerous balancing act. On one side, the love she'd been searching for her whole life. On the other side, the harm that same love was causing. In the days leading up to August 1st, she was trying to leave, really trying, but she'd also admit she loved him too much to just walk away completely. That push and pull, that's what trapped her. Strength and vulnerability fighting each other, and strength alone. It's not always enough to survive. Love turned violent. Like Alekka Simmons was strong. She said it herself in that Facebook post. Survived things most people couldn't. But sometimes strength can't save you from somebody who's determined to destroy you. By the time July rolled into August, her life had become a countdown. And everybody around her could see it coming. Everybody except maybe Aleka herself. The tension finally exploded on the night of July 31st, bleeding into the early morning hours of August 1st. Earlier that day, Aleka had posted on Facebook, "Thankful for life, no matter how hard life may seem." She even posted a photo collage of her and Otis together, smiling, looking happy. But by midnight, completely different story. Around 12:30 a.m., 911 started getting calls. Some were hang-ups. Silent, but you know somebody on the other end needed help. Then came the call that changed everything. Aleka identified herself, voice shaking with fear. "This is Alekka Simmons. If anything happens to me," in the background you could hear the argument escalating, her voice cutting through. "Are you threatening me? You're going to kill me?" The dispatcher sent officers to her home in Lithonia immediately. When police pulled up to the house, dark, quiet, no screaming, no visible signs of trouble, just a dark house that looked peaceful from the outside. Officers stood there trying to figure out what to do. They couldn't see or hear anything that would justify forcing their way in. So they made a decision. They left. But here's the truth about domestic violence. Danger doesn't always look like danger from the outside. Sometimes it hides behind closed doors, waiting for the moment help turns away. Inside that house, tension was building. Walker's mother, Sharon, had been asleep when a young family member woke her up saying police were outside. She could feel something was wrong. That mother's intuition kicking in. Sharon walked into the bedroom where Aleka and her son were. The tension in that room was thick enough to choke on. She could sense it. So she offered Aleka an out, a ride, a way to leave, a chance to escape. For just a moment there was hope, a possibility that this night wouldn't end in tragedy. But then Walker said Aleka was planning to talk to police. He closed the bedroom door, and within moments, a gunshot shattered everything. The sound was deafening. Sharon rushed back, but it was already too late. Aleka had been shot in the chest, her body collapsing right there in the bedroom where she'd just been pleading for her life. Sharon didn't hesitate. Terrified, she grabbed two minors and ran out of that house, ran to a neighbor's place, and dialed 911 again. When officers returned to the property, they didn't even get a chance to make it to the door. As they approached the front yard, gunfire erupted. Walker had armed himself and opened fire with a barrage of nearly 19 rounds. Bullets flying through the night. Officer Derek Nunn got hit 4 times. 4 times. Somehow by sheer will or miracle or both, he survived. In those chaotic minutes, law enforcement had to make an impossible choice. Push forward and risk more officers getting killed, or pull back and wait for backup. They pulled back, called in the SWAT team, took cover while the scene was still hot. Inside the house, the damage was already done. When SWAT finally re-entered to secure the scene, they found Aleka upstairs, lifeless. The gunshot wound to her chest had ended her life. The moment was heavy, surreal. All that noise from the gunfire replaced by an eerie, terrible silence. A home turned into a crime scene. A young mother gone. And Walker? He wasn't there. In all the confusion and chaos, he'd slipped away, disappeared into the woods nearby. His escape launched a massive manhunt that would consume DeKalb County for more than a week. Multiple agencies banded together for this manhunt. DeKalb County Police, fugitive task forces, SWAT teams. Everybody was looking for this man. They scoured neighborhoods, released bulletins, posted rewards for information.
And on the run tonight, this guy is one of the most wanted men in Georgia. Police say he killed his girlfriend and then shot a police officer several times. That officer, Derek Nunn, is in the hospital recovering after emergency surgery. Good evening. I'm Russ Spencer, in tonight for Tom Haynes.
And I'm Marissa Mitchell in for Sine Simpson. Take a good look at Otis Walker. There's a huge manhunt for him tonight. Police say he shot his girlfriend at a house on Hodgson Corners Cove in DeKalb County, then ambushed Officer Nunn when he arrived at the scene.
Well, Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has followed this story all day and joins us now live with the details. Angelique?
Well, Russ and Marissa, I got to tell you, suspect Otis Walker's whereabouts still unknown tonight, despite a very intense search. Take a look behind me at the house where the shooting happened. You can still see evidence of the violence. We are glad to report that that officer he's accused of shooting is going to be okay. We cannot say the same for Walker's girlfriend, who didn't make it. The intense manhunt for accused murder suspect and police shooter Otis Walker centered around Martin Luther King High School. That is where our Fox 5 cameras captured officers armed with rifles looking for the 27-year-old man. Sources say Walker was spotted in a wooded area at around 7 o'clock Thursday morning after DeKalb police say he shot and killed his girlfriend, then ambushed 3 responding police officers, wounding Officer Derek Nunn.
And I'm sure it shocked the whole neighborhood because, like I said, it's usually quiet over here.
It was all surreal to homeowner Krister Fielder, who woke up to rapid gunfire, then quickly realized one of the bullets pierced her master bedroom window as she and her husband slept.
I was knocked out sleep, and I heard this pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, oh my God. I rolled out the bed, then got on the floor for safety.
DeKalb police responded to this domestic call around 12:30 on Hodgson Corners Cove in Stonecrest. When Officer Nunn got out of his cruiser, he was immediately shocked. It was backup officers who discovered Walker's girlfriend. Walker gave officers the slip, and he hasn't been seen since. Sources say the murder suspect has an extensive criminal history. We saw his family members removing items from the house. Neighbor Tammy Gresham knows Walker.
By him being like a nephew to me, it shocked me.
She says the suspect's mother ran to her house in a panic right after the deadly shooting.
She just said, I need you, I need you.
She says Walker shooting at anybody sounds out of character.
It really kind of bothered me because, like I said, he was a hard-working man. He'll go to work. He cared about his baby girl, and it never struck me that he would do anything like that.
The community was on edge, and I mean on edge, knowing that a man who had just killed his girlfriend and shot a police officer was still out there, hiding somewhere, possibly armed. That's terrifying. During those days, some of Walker's friends tried to reach him. One even sent a text message saying, "There's a manhunt for you and a $10,000 reward." No response. Radio silence. He had vanished. For over a week, people in DeKalb County were looking over their shoulders, locking their doors a little tighter, wondering if this man was still in their neighborhood or if he'd gotten away completely. But here's the thing about running. You can't run forever. Eventually somebody sees you. Somebody talks. Somebody calls in a tip.
Lithonia man convicted of murder and shooting an officer will spend the rest of his life behind bars, we've learned. Otis Walker has been sentenced to life plus 65 years for killing his girlfriend, Alekka Simmons. Now, he also fired at officers as they responded. This happened inside a home in Lithonia in 2019. Jurors found Walker guilty of multiple charges, including felony murder and 3 counts of aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer.
And on August 8, 2019, the search finally ended. Fugitive task force officers working with the DeKalb County Police got a tip. They tracked Walker to a Chevron gas station at the corner of Panola and Browns Mill Roads, not far from the crime scene at all. He'd been hiding nearby this whole time. When they moved in to arrest him around 11 p.m., Walker wasn't armed. They took him into custody without any incident. No shootout, no drama, just cuffs and a police car.
Shooting of a victim is wrong. The shooting of a police officer is wrong. It will not be tolerated, and we will waste no resources in bringing you into custody.
Strong words from DeKalb County Sheriff's Office Major Jeffrey Leslie as authorities announced the arrest of Otis Walker. This is exclusive video of law enforcement combing the Panola Road area for the 27-year-old Thursday afternoon.
We'd like to encourage anyone that's dealing with domestic violence issues to please get help.
Acting on a tip, investigators say they tracked Walker to this Chevron gas station at the corner of Panola and Browns Mill Roads, not far from the crime scene. They say Walker was not armed, and they took him into custody without incident around 11 p.m. As for injured officer Derek Nunn, officials say doctors released him from the hospital on Thursday.
Officer Nunn, I spoke with him again this morning, and he's resting comfortably. He's healing, he's doing well, his family's doing well, and we just want to ask that you keep him in your prayers.
And you know what they found on him? A handwritten note addressed to Officer Derek Nunn and the police department. In that note, Walker tried to apologize for what he'd done, tried to explain himself. He claimed he shot Aleka in self-defense. Which, girl, make that make sense. And he said when he fired at the officers, he wasn't trying to kill them. No, according to him, he was firing at the ground, trying to get them to shoot him. Suicide by cop, he claimed. His words rang hollow, empty, because the evidence told a completely different story. 19 bullets fired. An officer hit 4 times, not in the legs from a ricochet, but direct hits. A bullet that went through a neighbor's second-floor window while they were sleeping, and Aleka dead in her own bedroom with a gunshot wound to the chest. Nothing about that looked like self-defense or warning shots into the ground. Nothing. The manhunt was over. Walker was in custody, but the damage, irreversible. A young mother was gone. An officer was carrying lifelong scars, physical and emotional, and a whole community was left shaken from a night of violence that should have been prevented. Moving on to building the case. With Walker in custody, prosecutors started putting together their case. And honestly, it wasn't hard. The evidence was everywhere. They had the 911 logs, all of them. Aleka's midnight calls, her voice on record identifying herself, her desperate words warning that something was about to happen. This is Alekka Simmons. If anything happens to me, that recording alone was chilling. They had Walker's own mother as a witness. Sharon had seen the tension firsthand that night, heard the gunshot, fled the house in fear for her life and the lives of 2 minors. A mother testifying against her son. That's heavy, but she told the truth about what she saw. Inside the home, investigators gathered all the physical evidence. Aleka's body found upstairs with the gunshot wound to her chest. The remnants of a violent argument that ended with her death. Everything lined up with what witnesses had described, but the evidence outside the home, just as damning. Ballistics told a story that Walker's excuses couldn't erase. The bullets fired from his gun struck Officer Derek Nunn, not once, not twice, but 4 times. Nearly killed that man. Another round went straight through a neighbor's second-floor window while they were sleeping in that room. So this whole "I fired into the ground" story, the bullet trajectories didn't support it at all. These weren't warning shots. These were shots aimed at living, breathing people. 19 rounds fired, and their paths traced back not to the dirt, but to targets. Human targets. Based on all this evidence, prosecutors hit Walker with a long list of charges: malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, 3 separate counts of aggravated assault, on a law enforcement officer in possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. It was a charge stack that reflected not just Aleka's death, but the attempted murder of officers who had shown up to help. When it came time for Walker to defend himself in court, his claims fell apart under the weight of the facts. He insisted he shot Aleka in self-defense, but that argument crumbled when you had his mother's testimony, the 911 calls, and the documented history of prior abuse. Like how you claiming self-defense when you've already been arrested for putting your hands on her before. He claimed he fired at the ground to make police shoot him. Suicide by cop, remember, but the prosecution methodically tore that story to pieces. The placement of the rounds, the injuries to Officer Nunn, the bullet in the neighbor's second-floor bedroom, all of it proved those weren't harmless warning shots. And then there's the fact that after shooting Aleka and ambushing the police, Walker ran, fled into the woods, hid for over a week. That's not the behavior of someone seeking help or trying to turn themselves in. That's someone running from accountability, period. Walker's defense team tried to create reasonable doubt. They tried, but the evidence was just too strong, too overwhelming, too clear. After deliberation, the jury came back with their verdict. Guilty. Guilty on all the major counts. Malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault on Aleka, aggravated assault on the officers, firearms charges, all of it. Justice, at least in the legal sense, had been served. In November 2023, the courtroom filled up again for sentencing. Judge Yolanda Parker Smith presided, and she did not hesitate. Otis Walker was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 65 years, a sentence designed to make sure he would never ever walk free again. He'd die in prison. That was the message. The sentence was heavy, but so was the loss it was meant to balance.
Lithonia man convicted of murder and shooting an officer will spend the rest of his life behind bars, we've learned. Otis Walker has been sentenced to life plus 65 years for killing his girlfriend, Alekka Simmons. Now, he also fired at officers as they responded. This happened inside a home in Lithonia in 2019. Jurors found Walker guilty of multiple charges, including felony murder and 3 counts of aggravated assault of a law enforcement officer.
During the sentencing hearing, Aleka's family got their chance to speak. They talked about the empty seat at family gatherings, the holidays that would never feel whole again, the pain of watching her children grow up without their mother, without her laugh, without her hugs, without her. Friends spoke too about her kindness, her goofy personality, the way she could light up a room, all of that just memories. Now, Officer Derek Nunn was there too, carrying his own scars into that courtroom. Physical scars from the 4 bullets that hit him, emotional scars from a night that almost took his life, a living reminder of how close things came to being even worse. The sentence couldn't bring Aleka back, couldn't undo the fear she lived with, or the desperate calls she made for help. But it did guarantee one thing. The man who took her life and nearly killed a police officer would never have the chance to harm another woman, another family, or another community. So what now? What do we take from this? The tragedy of Alekka Simmons forces us to ask hard questions. What could have been done differently? When officers first showed up at her home that night, they saw silence, darkness, no obvious signs of trouble, so they left. But danger was inside, waiting. And that's the cruel reality of domestic violence. Victims recant their stories. They bail out their abusers. They say everything's fine when it's not. And the danger? It escalates most when they're trying to leave. Accountability doesn't rest on just one person or one agency. It's shared by individuals who see the signs and speak up, by communities that support victims instead of judging them, by systems that need to do more, way more to protect people like Aleka. But beyond the failures and the what ifs, we have to remember Aleka's life, not just her death. She had a laugh that could brighten a room. She had children who loved her. She had dreams, hopes. She posted about being thankful for life. Even when life was hard, she survived abandonment, pain, and struggles that would have broken most people. Alekka Simmons was strong. She said it herself. And she was right. But strength alone isn't always enough to survive love that turns violent. Aleka should still be here, thanking God for life, raising her children, finding the peace she never had growing up. Instead, her absence is a painful reminder of what happens when love gets twisted into tragedy. Her story isn't just about one night in August. It's about every warning sign that got ignored, every time she stayed when she should have been protected, every system that failed to keep her safe. And it's a reminder to all of us, when somebody tells you they're in danger, believe them. When you see the signs, say something. Don't wait until it's too late, because for Alekka Simmons it was too late. Rest in peace, Aleka. Your story will be told, your life will be remembered, and hopefully your death won't be in vain. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if this story had you shaking your head. Subscribe to Shadowed Crimes TV, because we bring you true crime stories daily, cases you know and ones you don't. Turn on those notifications and stay with us as we shine a light on shadowed stories that need to be heard, because every victim deserves to have their story told.